Yo, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Swell. You?
Not too bad. Are you a Christian?
Yes.
Awesome. How long have you been a Christian for?
Huh, hard to say. Decades now?
All right, cool. And what on the background would you like to talk about?
Well, I guess all of them are fine with me.
All right, where would you like to start?
Um,
What has the most interest to you?
maybe I'll just start with my position and then you could critique it, because then we're going to come into which kind of Christian, which parts of the Bible, blah, blah, blah. Right? Is that okay, or?
Yeah, go ahead and
Oh, okay,
share
yeah.
your side.
So here's my basic view why I'm a Christian. For me, it seems like moral truth either exists or it does not exist. Doesn't seem like it could be any other way. If moral truth exists, I think it would have to come from God, because I can't think of any other way that there could just be these moral truths that just exist. I don't know how we would discover those things. And the same that we do with math. I think math is just true. I don't think we create math. I think we discover mathematical truth, but I don't think we invented it in our brains. I think some other intelligent species could probably figure out math. Now the question is, could they figure out the our moral opinions? Like, are those just apparent to non-humans? I don't think so. So I think in an atheist universe, morality essentially doesn't even exist. Now, what I mean by exist is that the moral propositions are not true. People can believe them, but in an atheist universe, that's kind of like believing in a deity. Sure, people can believe in deities, but they're not even true and they're not real. So that alone should be a good enough reason to dismiss atheist moral propositions, just because on the simple basis that they're not even true.
So, just to clarify, I want to know what you mean. What do you mean by a moral truth?
Yeah, so let's take the moral proposition, slavery is wrong. Okay. Well, now, what do you mean by that? Do you mean that you feel some type of way about slavery? Do you mean you disagree with it? What do you mean by that?
So this is an example. What is the definition of moral truth?
Yeah, something that's true, mind independent. Now, when I say mind
Okay.
independent, I'm specifically excluding God's mind, because he has a different kind of mind that's not substantially similar to human minds.
So it depends on the type of mind. It's not
Well,
mind
yeah.
independent. It
Let's
depends on the
just
type
say
of mind.
human mind independent. Let's say human mind independent.
Sure.
So,
So
for example,
I don't agree with that already, just because for me the definition of moral is in fact subjective. By definition, it's subjective, and so what what it means is
well,
that
then it's not true.
this is what an individual uses to determine right and wrong. It's their system.
Okay, so what's the difference between truth and belief within this framework?
I'm. What's the difference between truth and belief in this? What one
Yeah,
can what
within that conceptualization, like, is there a
Yeah,
difference?
what one can demonstrate to be factual and corresponds with reality versus not.
Wait, you think you can prove your subjective moral opinions true
I never
somehow?
said that.
Well, then what's the
I never
difference
said
between you
you're the
believing?
one that's so. It seems like you're the one that's trying to take the position that moral truth or objectivity does exist. Correct?
Yeah, but okay, but let's
Okay,
presuppose your
I'm
rule.
saying that I don't think they do, because if you look at
Okay,
everyone,
fine.
we all
Let's
have
do an
different
internal
moral
critique now.
views, and the definition of morality is subjective. So if you want to say that they're objective, then I need to know how you know that.
No, hang on. Let's do an internal critique. So I'll presuppose it's true that morality is subjective and that there is no moral truth. All right, let's just do an internal critique now. Okay, fair enough. How do I know that your moral opinions are the correct ones? Suppose I have different moral intuitions about slavery or grape or whatever. How do we know
Yeah,
that yours are the correct ones?
I wouldn't say that we could one way or another say who is correct and who isn't, but I think that that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have the conversation and outline why we have our moral frameworks, what they are, and what we think of X subject.
Okay, fair
The
enough,
whole
but
point
that's
of this is
entirely
us trying to
consistent
convince each
with what I
other of what's
said.
the best course of action for us as a society to go on or as individuals to go on.
Well, yeah, but that's exactly what I said, right? Like I said, we can dismiss your moral propositions because they're not even true. Like that's basically what you do with deities, right?
That I dismiss deities because they're not true. I dismiss
Yeah, basically.
I dismiss when people say that deities are facts because no one's been able to show me that they're true. But when someone does, I mean, it's possible. Like, who knows?
Sure, but like, can you prove that your moral propositions are true? No. Therefore, why can't I just dismiss them until proven otherwise?
Because my morals aren't on the table here. It's yours because you're the ones that's saying that they are objectively true. So I'm waiting for you to
No, no,
show
no,
how
no,
we
no.
can
Hang
know
on.
that.
This is an internal critique that I'm making. So we're
Okay,
presupposing
I
moral
understand,
truth
but it doesn't have anything
does
to
not
do with what I've
exist,
been
and
asking.
God does not exist, right? Like this is an internal critique that I'm doing right now. So God doesn't exist,
An internal
nor does
critique
moral
of what?
truth exist.
An internal critique of
Of
what?
atheist morality, the
Okay, that
existence,
none
the
of that is
concept.
on the background, and you said that we were going to talk about the background.
Okay, just real
So
quick, just
remember,
real quick.
so I don't understand why people come up here and say I want to talk about X subject on your background, and then don't even talk about that. They want to talk about other stuff. We're
No, no,
talking.
no, I can't.
We're talking
You
about
want
what
me to connect
convinced
it?
you the
I can
Bible is
connect it.
true, and when we're discussing it, you're saying that well, you've become convinced of objective morality, and that must come from God. And so now we have to go down the road of how do you know objective morality exists, and
No,
how do
no,
you
no.
know it
That's
comes
do
from a
you want
God?
do you want me to state my argument again? So this, in case there,
Do,
I
do
think
you
you
do
just
you
got it
not
wrong.
believe that objective morality exists?
Yeah, I believe that, but I could be
Okay,
wrong.
and do you believe that if moral objectivity is real, then that it must come from a God?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I
Okay,
think.
so
Yeah,
so
but
I
I could
have
be
your
wrong
argument
again.
down. I have your argument down. So that
Yeah, I could
means
be
that
wrong.
because that is the relevant answer to number one. Okay, cool. Now we need to go down your burden of proof. How do you know that we have enough to say that objective morality is true, and that it
I
came
don't.
from a God?
I don't. I don't
Okay,
know
so
that.
so
I
so we
believe
don't
that.
know. So it's just your opinion too, bro. And in the end, it's your subjective
Sure,
morality as well. So you and
sure,
I have
sure. So
both
now let's get to
determined.
the internal critique.
So
Okay,
you and I
good,
have
good.
both
Now let's move
determined.
on.
Hold on. So you and I have both determined that it does seem like, to the best of our ability and knowledge, morality is subjective, and that is not enough for us to stand on when we say that the Bible is true. So how can we know the Bible is true?
Okay, do you hear what I said? I'm okay with presupposing your things as facts. I don't believe that, but I can
You don't
still
have to. I'm not
think.
asking you. This isn't what this
Well, no,
conversation
no,
is
because
about.
well, you are asking because you said we're presupposing that morality is subjective. Well, hang on,
I,
that's not my
I
view, but
never I never
I
said
don't
we
mind
are.
arguing that. Sure, that's
Okay.
not what I believe, but okay.
Well then you shouldn't have agreed with it.
Well, no, I don't agree, but I don't mind
Okay.
arguing within that
So
realm.
so how do we know
I could
that?
still man your
So how
position.
do we know that your belief is true?
I don't know that.
Okay, so why would you want to talk about number one if we can't show that it's true?
Well,
if
that's
you've
what
already
I'm
made
saying. Like we don't have to have evidence in order to believe things. Is the claim I'm making.
Okay, all right. So you believe in this thing, but you admit that you have no good reason to.
No evidence, sure.
Okay, no good reason. All right. So then
Well,
number
no,
two,
that, no,
free
no.
will.
What
Do you
what
believe that
you're
free will is
calling a good
biblical?
reason is different than what I'm calling a good reason.
Okay.
So we could ask
You
that
cannot
out,
verify
too.
that
But
your
again,
beliefs are true in any
you're
way,
just
correct?
attributing a position to me that I don't hold.
So yeah, but if you read what I said, what convinced you that the Bible is true? I'm hoping that you have more than just. It feels nice. It sounds nice. But if you don't have a standard of evidence for you and what you're going to base your true beliefs on, that's your problem. That's not mine. But if that's what
Sure,
you're
but then
comfortable with,
you're in the
okay.
same boat for your
So
moral
let's move on to
proposition.
number two. Do you
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
that free
you're in
will
the
is
same boat
biblical?
for your moral propositions. You understand that, right?
No, I'm not because I'm not making any sort of claim about them.
Okay, so you're
So
not making
number
any.
two,
So, but you
free
said
will. Do
slavery is
you
wrong.
believe
You
it's
said that.
biblical?
You
Yes, I
did
do
make a
believe.
claim.
Yes, I
You said
do believe
slavery
that
is wrong.
slavery is wrong. Now, do you believe that free will
Okay,
is
well that's a
biblical?
claim. You understand that's a claim, right?
Sir, are you going to continue to try to not have the conversations that I'm up here to have?
No, no, I am having a conversation. You made a claim. Slavery is
This
wrong.
this has
That's a
nothing
moral
to yeah, but this has
proposition.
nothing to do with anything that I have on the background.
How isn't it? You just made a claim. You're denying that
Because
you
we're
made a
talking
claim.
about you and your
Okay,
position.
what is your
And you want
justification
to
for
turn it
that
around.
claim? You asserted something, And I'm going to use Hitchens' razor here. I'm going to say, well,
Because this
where's the
conversation,
evidence for that claim?
where's the evidence that this conversation is about you and your positions? Up here.
No,
Where I
no,
say
no.
Christians,
Where's
please
the evidence
request.
that
And
slavery
I'm
is
here
wrong?
asking to talk to Christians, and I want to talk to them about these topics.
Yes, we're comparing and contrasting our beliefs. Can you do that or not?
Yeah, I can, but I would like to go through yours first, because that's
Okay,
what
but we
this
just
live
went
is
through mine.
about.
Like we just hashed that out. I answered your question. I said I don't know that. I believe that. Okay, now I have a question about your view, and you're dodging it like the plague.
No, I have no issue dodging it, but let's go through these points first, and then we can go through the counterpoints. Do you understand how this works?
Hold
Do you
on,
know how
but I just
conversations
asked
go?
a very simple question about
so-
your view. So how
Do you
do I know
understand?
my
The,
view?
yes,
is
yes, but do
actually
you
the
understand
stupid
that if I answer
with
your
nothing to
side
compare to?
question, but do you understand that if I answer your side question, you're just going to continue it onto
What
this
are we
whole other
comparing my
conversation that
views
has
to?
nothing to do with what I came up here to talk about?
What are we comparing my views to exactly?
We're just talking about your views and how there's justification for them
Okay, justify compared to what?
to reality and how we know they're true.
To your views?
Can you show me that they're true?
Can you show me that any moral proposition that you have ever made is true?
I've never said that.
Okay, so it's not true that slavery is wrong, right?
Oh my god, man.
What, are you just going to run? Like, just say it.
I don't know
Say
how
it's
many
not-
times I can answer these questions for you, and you just keep ignoring the answers and trying to keep throwing the same question back at me as if you've got some kind of grand response to this. You really don't, and I'm really trying hard to have this conversation with you about the Christian perspective and what the Bible says and how we know it's verifiable, and you just want to keep avoiding it and
But I
sidelining
answered your
it.
question, though. That's the difference.
Okay,
I can answer
alright,
your questions
so-
easily
so-
without a problem, but
Okay,
you can't do the same.
Then why
You
are we?
cannot argue
Then
in
why?
good faith.
Why are we
You
stuck?
lack the
Then why are
ability.
we stuck? Why aren't we continuing?
You're just
on with the
intellectually
conversation?
dishonest. That's why.
Then why aren't we continuing with the conversation?
Because you're so
Why
intellectually
are you
dishonest.
stuck? Why are you stuck?
I'm not. You're intellectually dishonest. You can't even answer basic questions about your
I've
beliefs. I
answered your
can.
question. I've answered your questions.
No, you did
multiple
not.
times,
I
and
asked
you've
you a
been paying
simple
attention.
question.
I
Is
would've
it
asked you.
true that slavery is wrong? Very simple.
And I told you, in my moral perspective, it is. How many times
Okay,
do I have
when
to
I-
say
okay,
that? This
again.
is the third time I have said that. And if you've been paying attention, you would have learned that.
Okay, when I ask you if
So,
something is
free will.
true,
Do you
I'm
believe
not
it's
asking
biblical?
if you believe it. I'm saying, is it true?
It is true based on the framework that my morals are based on.
Okay, again, if I ask if
Is that
something
too
is
hard
true,
for you to
I'm
understand
not
what that
asking
means?
what you believe. Okay, again, if you ask me, does God exist? Right? Yeah, I can say I believe God exists. Now, is it true that God exists? I don't know. Actually.
Yes, I know. You're an agnostic Christian. I get it. That's fine.
Okay,
And I
so
don't know,
let's try
and
to
I
plug
don't
that
understand.
back into your beliefs.
I accept your answer.
okay.
Why won't you accept mine?
Because you're not answering in good faith.
I
am.
literally
You're-
answered
you're
your
dodging.
question
I'm
as
not.
clearly as I can. I don't know how to dumb it down anymore for you. According to my moral framework, yes, slavery is wrong.
Okay, let's unpack that. Let's unpack that then. Your moral framework, is that based on facts or opinions?
It is as factual as I can make it be.
Okay, what does that mean? What does that look like?
Yeah, so for example, things like child abuse, I look at the facts, I look at data, I look at studies, and I look to make the decision that on my moral framework, I have both factual and non-factual reasons why I say child abuse is wrong.
Okay, let's stick with the slavery example. Okay, so we have many.
Yeah, okay, then we can
examples
look
of
at historical,
societies-
factual examples of how people have been mistreated and dehumanized over time, and that has not been good for their well-being or their autonomy, and we can see how this is damaging. And so we can see, factually as well as non-factual, that this is bad.
Why? It was good for the slave
Okay,
owners.
well, but it still is diminishing the well-being of individuals as well as causing unnecessary harm. It doesn't matter
Why
if
does
it
that
does
matter?
well for some, but not all, because that is not because that doesn't go with my morality. In order for us to do or to aim for the well-being of all individuals as well as avoid unnecessary harm, you can't justify enslaving other people because that goes against that.
And is your moral opinion the correct one, or can other people have different
No, I
opinions?
never said that. Of course, other people have different moral opinions. But I want to
Okay,
know what
so
theirs
like
are
if
based
you're
on.
like the slave owner, for example, he probably has a different view, right?
Probably.
Okay, so what if he says slavery is good? Now, like, how do we hash that out?
Yeah, what is the argument for slavery being good?
Yeah, so let's say his ancestors owned slave. They instilled that as a good moral value to have.
So what? Just because
Rape.
your ancestors did a thing doesn't mean that it was good. So
Exactly.
what?
So what? Isn't it always going to come down to so what?
Not
Isn't
if you
it
have a good
always gonna come
reason.
down to
Not
that?
if you have a good reason.
Yeah. So like, so what if the
So
slave
when
is harmed?
when people come up to me
So what?
with studies that show like child abuse is wrong and things like that, then it's no longer so what, it's oh wow, I've been presented with information and now I need to take a look at that and see how that actually affects
No, no.
my
You could
worldview.
still say so what to that. You could say so what. Why does that matter?
Well, then you're not being honest.
How? If I have a different framework and it's entirely consistent with my framework, which says slaves' lives do not matter, how is that not being consistent?
Why would they not matter? What is the justification there?
Because
That makes
they're
no
not.
sense.
They're barbarians. Screw them. I'm a Roman citizen.
How are the so? I'm sorry. What? That doesn't make any sense. Again, with the facts
Yeah,
that we
so
know of
this is
reality,
Roman
of
morality
biology,
and virtue
and
and
everything
ethics.
that we know about nature, they are just as human beings as we are, and that there is no justification.
Who
to
said
treat them
human
as
lives
lower
matter?
than.
Where's that? Does physics
Okay,
say
so
that?
so you don't even value your own life. Do you realize that
No,
everything
I'm
that you
asking a
say that
question.
I have a response to, and that everything you're saying just
No,
is
hold up.
silly?
Just because I
It's
value my
silly.
life doesn't mean I value other humans. That's a
Okay,
non
what's the
sequitur.
difference? What's the difference?
I just told you they're barbarians and I'm a Roman citizen. That's the
Why?
difference.
No, why? What is the difference?
What do you
Who
mean,
cares?
why? Because
What
they
is the
don't
difference?
speak Latin or Greek. That's why.
And that justifies enslaving people because
Yes, within my moral framework as a Roman
Because why?
citizen,
Because
yes,
why?
that
Because
is what
why?
we believe. Correct.
Because why?
Yes, and a virtuous Roman, masculine
Because
Roman
why?
man believes that it is okay to dominate and subjugate and enslave your enemies. Correct. Yeah, that's the view.
why?
Why not? Because
Okay,
look,
that-
we're stronger than them.
Why
That's
are you
why.
giving me such stupid answers, my guy?
No, hang on a second. You cannot refute Roman morality within your own framework. You can't do it.
Oh my god.
Roman ethics is just
Okay,
that's just
so
their view.
even if I wanted to grant you this, just for conversation's sake, you realize that the only thing that you have managed to do here is say neither one of us can say we're right, and so now we're just stuck.
Exactly. That's what subjective morality leads to. It's just you expressing your moral
Okay,
opinion.
great. And I
people
said
have
that,
other opinions,
and
they
as I
cancel
said,
each other out.
you can break that so easily by demonstrating objective morality actually exists. But you said you can't do that, so we're stuck.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. Sure,
So you are stuck.
but you're stuck too because you can't prove your moral proposition's true either.
But I've never made that claim. You're the one that made the claim that that objective morality exists, but you admit that you cannot demonstrate it. You're the one that's stuck,
But
and
you
you're
did
the
make
one
the
that's
claim. You
caught
said it's true
in a
that
contradictory
slavery is wrong.
position.
Well, you did say that. You said it's true that slavery is wrong. You said
In
that.
my moral framework. I don't know how many times I have to say that, and you trying to cut that out and censor my words to try to make it twisted isn't going to work. I'm
No,
sorry.
I didn't do that. Within
Well, then you
Roman
would have
moral
added what I
framework,
said.
Slavery is fine.
Okay, I don't care. How do we know that that is true? If
How
you're
do we
gonna
know that your claim's true?
Okay, so what is your position? I want to know. You as a Christian, do you believe that slavery is wrong?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Why
I could
when
be
the
wrong,
Bible?
though.
Why when the Bible doesn't?
Yeah, I'm not sure if the authors of the Bible got everything correct.
So you don't even think the Bible's true?
I think it's mostly
Why are you
true.
wasting my time?
No, I think it's mostly.
Why do people waste my time? People come up here and they're like, I want to talk about number one. What convinced me that the Bible is true? And then you're going to go here and say, I don't even think it is 100% true. I think shit's wrong in there. Like, come on, man. What a waste. Why do people come up here and go like, yeah, I want to talk about this, and then they don't talk about it?